Hey, my name is Zach, and today we're talking about file structure and media management inside of Premiere Pro CC. Without any organization, your project is going to be complete chaos. And though that may work for individual project workflows, if you ever plan on growing your team or working collaboratively in a group environment on larger scale projects, you need to be organized. I know this may not be the most glamorous part of creating, but I can promise you if you do put these organization tools in place, it's not only going to allow you to create a lot more content, but it's also going to allow you to create that content much quicker and more efficiently. To get started, I like to create a master template file folder. And this may look slightly different depending on what you need customized for your individual workflow. Generally, I like to have a numbered file name and then the actual project name itself to the right-hand side. So I usually start out with about 4 numbers, so it allows me to kind of start from 0 to go into the multiple thousands, and then I would name the project. So for example, 001, Zach's YouTube vlog. And this is nice because it essentially allows me to copy and paste this folder structure. So whenever I go and create a new project, it's already set up and ready to go. I just need to rename it to the project that I'm currently working on. Within that folder, I usually have a video folder for all the raw footage. And again, kind of depending on the scale of the project, sometimes I'll have more than one camera and I'll either name it by A cam, B cam, or camera 1, camera 2, and sometimes I'll also put the actual name of the camera if we're working with multiple different camera formats. So if we're using like a Red for one camera, and then an FS7 for one, and then a Canon C100 for another one, we'll make sure to label that so we know when we're going into post-production what we're working with. So then I usually create a music and audio folder as well. Music is obviously for all the projects, music that's going to be used when we go and edit the project. So any licensed music or music from artists that you're working with. And then I also have an audio file, which is for any audio that's being recorded externally with a external audio recorder or a sound operator. Then we can dump all the raw audio files in there and we can sync them to the cameras when we go into post, and everything's nice and organized. I also usually like to keep a graphics file for any Photoshop files or AI files or anything that I'm going to be using in the project for like lower thirds or just company logos or anything like that. Next up, and a very important one, is to have all your project files within one project files folder. So I also create that project files folder, and I keep my Premiere files, or if I'm using Final Cut or After Effects, anything that's a project file is kept in there. That way, if we have different revisions of things, you can just quickly go look in there, and if you're handing it off to another editor, they can see the most recent version of the project that you've been working on, and just simply open it right from there. And the nice thing about this too is that because everything's within this one folder, you can essentially drag this whole folder. If all your media, your project files, your music is all in there, you can just drag this whole folder to an external hard drive and give it to another editor. Or if you're working off some sort of like networked drive array, it's simple to go from computer to computer without getting any offline files or any headaches like that. And then depending on the project, I also usually do a proxy folder. If it's a project that there's a lot of higher resolution cameras being used, it might be worth making some proxies. If you think your computer is going to struggle with it a little bit, then we'll store all the proxies in there. And then lastly, a final renders folder. This is where all exported versions of the project will be kept. So if you're doing multiple revisions or rough cuts, you can simply just go into that folder and you'll see all the versions within that. So it's a nice and organized setup. And that's pretty much it. But before I implemented this process, it was always a struggle if I had to hand a project over to another editor, or if I needed to give it to someone who was doing a quick sound master or anything like that, I'd always struggle having offline media files all over the place, whether I forgot something on my desktop or in a separate file on my computer or something like that. So the hardest part about this is just staying consistent with it, but it's a nice simple file structure that will allow you to stay organized and work in a collaborative environment. But not only that, it's also nice because when you do archive all your content, if you ever need to open a project years down the line, at least you know where everything is. It's all in one place and can be easily accessed on another drive. Overall, it's very easy and simple. It's just a matter of actually working these practices into your individual workflow. And I find the best way to do that is if you know you're starting a project, make sure to duplicate that main template folder and name the project and number the project. So that way, when you're done shooting and you're offloading footage, there's no excuse. There's no reason why you wouldn't be putting things into the proper folders because it's already set up. And once you start to work that into your workflow, it will just become a natural thing and a natural part of your process. And if you implement this into your projects, you're going to be creating content more efficient and easier than you ever could have imagined. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite way to organize your project media is. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram @FilmZach. And until next time, copy and create. Peace.